So it will stop the execution, which means it won't show any result on your command prompt, but it will read the entire script. So if you fix this error, if you actually fix this error and you save this, then your compiler will read each and every line, and when it reaches line 27, then it will stop its reading and execution. So the difference lies in between reading and execution. Your compiler will first read every single line of your code. Then if it sees that the line after reading, if it sees that you don't have any error inside your script, then only then your compiler will actually execute your code. But if it sees that after reading that you have an error on your script on a specific line, then it will stop its execution from that line onwards. And even if your code is correct after that line, like I've shown you, then it won't actually it will actually ignore those lines, even if those codes are correct. So let me get back to this block that I was discussing about. So let's change this value first, and let's look at the result, and I will come back to the script after I show you the result. So let's bring up the browser. Let's recompile this code. I hope there are no problems, and there are no problems actually. And we can look at the script and we get the executable. So we are ready to execute this, or we are ready to run the script. So we see that we get something like the first variable is not equal to the second variable. So we get that message from the else if clause. So what is actually happening inside our script? So when the compiler looks at your script, it first sees that we have got two variables as usual, and when it reaches this if, else if and else block, then it sees something else. It sees that according to this standard, it will always expect some sort of conditions, some sort of Boolean expression inside this condition after it has encountered this if keyword. So when it finds that there is an if keyword, it will automatically expect you to give some sort of condition. So inside that condition, we're telling the compiler that if the first number is equals to the second number, then print out the message they are equal on the command prompt. But what happens if the numbers are not equal? What happens if they are unequal? Like at this moment we have two different variables, two different values inside two of these variables. So what happens in that case? In that case, we have something else. So when our compiler looks at this Boolean expression, the highlighted part, or if you look at this entire thing, this is the condition. So this condition needs to be true for this message to be printed out. But this message is not being printed out. The reason is that this condition, this entire condition for this if clause is false. So when this condition is false, this compiler, our compiler, is actually ignoring this entire if clause. So because it reads line by line, then it moves on to the else if clause. So when it encounters the else if clause, it will also automatically look for a condition after the else if keywords. So when it finds that there is an when it finds that there is a condition, then it reads the condition. The condition is that first number is not equals to the second number. So is it true? Let's have a look. So the first number variable contains the number 1, the value, numeric value of 1, and the second number variable contains the numeric value of 2. So both are integers, so there are no problems. So this condition is actually true. This condition is true because we are reversing this equality operator. So in mathematics you have learned about something like not equals to, equals to. In programming we do have the same thing, but the symbols are a little different. Like in the case for the equality operator, the highlighted part, we have got two equals to signs. So this is a little different than when we use that inside when we use this equality operator in our daily life mathematical use. So we only use a single sign to represent equality in between two values or two variables, but in programming we use two equals to sign to represent the equality operator. And for the inequality operator we use an exclamation mark followed by the equals to sign. So this actually means that you can actually read this literally. If this condition is true, then execute this block of code. So is this condition true? Let's see. The first number variable contains 1, the second number variable contains 2. So 1 is not equals to true. So this condition is perfectly true, or this condition is perfectly correct. So when this condition is perfectly correct, the compiler will look inside this block of statement. So it finds that there is a we are actually telling the compiler to print out something on the command prompt. So when it sees that it has to print something, it is printing that the first variable is not equal to the second variable. So